Hello and welcome to the Now I Rise Booksplosion live show. This month we're working with Random House and we are so excited. Oh my god, my feet is talking! Shh! Okay, sorry, that was me 5 seconds ago. Okay, anyway, and we're so excited to be discussing the second book in Kiersten White's And I Darken trilogy, Now I Rise. Brightly Burning is coming out in July very, very soon. So we got caught up this month. We're ready for book 3. If you haven't read And I Darken yet, you're probably not going to want to stay. But we'll do a little quick summary of what the series is about before you have to leave. We'll tell you. So I'm Christine.
I'm Jesse.
And I'm Kat.
And we're Booksplosion, and we're taking questions using the hashtag RiseSplosion, which looks like rice explosion, on Twitter. And we'll also be looking at the chat. It just might go, if it gets to going too quickly, it's easier to see stuff on Twitter. But yeah, so Kat or Jesse, you want to kick us off with what the series is about?
It's a historical retelling of Vlad the Impaler.
If he was a woman.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's not just about Vlad
Yeah.
or Lada in this case, but the central focus of this book is Lada and her younger brother Radu and their sibling relationship and the fact that they're both such like major players in these huge changes and wars that are happening in the area right now.
Yeah.
And like they're opposites of each other too. Like Lada is very like vicious and brutal and fierce, and Radu is like beautiful and strategic, and he's really good at the diplomacy side of things. And yeah, it's about their relationship and also their relationship with a third person who is kind of like a very important player in this time period.
Like, and it's all going on with the backdrop of this like very fascinating portion of history that we kind of just brush over in school very quickly. Like it's about the Ottoman Empire. And I know personally, like I never really understood what that was all about because we learned about it for like 5 seconds. And Constantinople is this city that, again, like we learned about so quickly. All I really knew about it was that Constantine tried to join the Orthodox Christians with the Catholics or Greek Orthodox with Catholicism, and everyone hated him for trying to join those two churches. And just like seeing people in this time period reacting to it was it's just so surreal. I don't
see these huge like historic events, but all from the perspective of like these two characters who are so in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And there's so much personal stuff going on. Like it's a very character-driven novel for something that has such a huge scope of like history and wars and like sieges and like these big events where hundreds of thousands of people are dying, and like we're just focused on like these very not quiet exactly, but like these personal, deeper connections between people.
We're just like seeing it happen around them through their eyes, and I'm finding it just so cool to be there. And like this is a window to that time period that you don't get from learning about it. But from this historical fiction, I mean, Kiersten White did so much research and so much went into everything that she wrote. I can't imagine writing a series like this. Like,
oh my gosh, no way.
I can't. It's such a feat. Reading it, I'm just like constantly so impressed with how detailed and how just how good it sounds. Like everything sounds so good and so real.
The writing is amazing. It's not boring at all. Like you look at it, you're like a 500-page historical retelling. It's not boring. Like it's so engaging and so cinematic. Like it plays like a movie or like a TV show. Like some moments felt very Game of Thronesy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very good. So I highly recommend picking up And I Darken so that you could read Now I Rise and then Bright We Burn, which comes out very soon.
On July 10th, in like a week and a half.
I'm so ready for it.
I'm so excited. Like after I finished this one, it was hard not to go on Wikipedia and like look up the history of what was going on. But I didn't want to spoil myself. But I'm just so fascinated and so interested to see what happens because I don't know so much of it. Like it's a lot of it is so new to me.
Yeah, I'm glad we waited to read this when we did too, because I need the third book, and it's coming out so soon now. So.
Yeah, it's one that if you don't read them close together, you kind of start to forget the details, and you want to know the details.
Yeah.
So okay, now we'll go into our thoughts. I think non-spoilery thoughts about Now I Rise, and if you haven't read And I Darken, we do have also I think we all have reviews of some sort for that book and a live show.
What? It was August of 2016?
I think it was July of 2016.
July of 2016. So summer of 2016, And I Darken was our book of the month. So we have a live show discussion about that.
It's not high fantasy. Someone's asking repeatedly, is it high fantasy? It's not. It's historical fiction.
There's no fantasy element, but it reads like a political high fantasy would. Like it has a lot of court politics and war. It reminded me of Game of Thrones. It takes place during the state, like Game of Thrones is based off of an actual war called the War of the Roses, which took place in England in the middle 1400s. And this series takes place in the middle 1400s around the same time, but in a different location of the world.
Yeah. So anyway, we were saying that if you want like coverage for And I Darken, we did talk about that in a live show, and we all have our reviews. But now we're going to talk about our feelings for Now I Rise. Jesse, kick us off with what you thought about Now I Rise.
All right. No spoilers?
No spoilers yet. No spoilers yet.
Okay. I'll try. So I really like this book. I felt like it did a really good job of like picking back up from where the last book left off. And something that I really liked is that the first book is like really about like seeing the growth of the characters. We follow them from like a very young age to like young adulthood. So in this book, they're like really established. And I really liked seeing that. I loved seeing Lada again. I feel like we got to see more of her being hardcore in this book. She was brutal at times. And I really liked seeing that. I will say that some of the characters I feel meh about. Like they were just making frustrating decisions, and I was just like so annoyed with some of them, but I was still so interested in like reading about them. Like for some reason I was still like engaged with their characters, and I still wanted to know what was going to happen. And something that I really grew to appreciate with this book was the slow pacing. I feel like that's something that I had a problem with the first book, was the slow pacing, but I've realized that like it suits the rhythm of this story. So I was really kind of surprised by that. And I really liked how religion and politics played out in this story and how it kind of affected different things. My one complaint is that I feel like you guys will have the same complaint, is that there are just so many characters to keep track of that I feel like I still don't fully know like the cast of characters, because there's just so many people to like keep track of. But overall, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it.
I, with that character thing, found that the audiobook actually really helped me with that.
Really?
Just because like it's pronouncing the words that I just make up in my brain, hearing them pronounced over and over again. It took a bit, like, but I started to get to know everyone, I feel like. And even like Wallachia, I always called it Wallachia, and like I started listening to the audiobook for this one, it was like Wallachia, or something like completely different than what I was saying, and I was like, are they talking about Wallachia? Like, how did you feel? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, I mean, same as you guys. The characters, like the overwhelming with characters and like new character names, was only really overwhelming in the beginning because I didn't remember much about the first book. So when like they referenced like, oh yeah, Halil Viziar is like a bad guy, I was like, is he? What did he do? Like, I forget. But after that first like 50 pages or so, and like we started to get into a rhythm, and like the important characters were the ones we actually were interacting with, I had no problems with that. And I loved it. Like Jesse said, even when characters made kind of like frustrating decisions or bad decisions, and you're just like, no, don't, I can see this going down a bad path, it's still so engaging, and they're also compelling. Like all the characters are flawed, but they all have such depth and complexity, and they're real, and their relationship dynamics and everything. Like you understand why Lada does the things that she does, even if you don't agree with them, and you're like, I would never do that. You can still like see her perspective and be like, okay, I mean, it makes sense for Lada. Like, Yeah, and she was very badass in this book. Radu was also Radu, I feel like is better. I don't know if he's better without Lotta being around him or not.
No. He had like his journey that, you know, like when like there's a thing that changes you, and he had it in this book, and I think it was really good for him.
Yeah, I think that like I don't think the character names and like amount of characters was enough to like downmark it for me. But what I do wish this book had done, like something that I would have really, really, really enjoyed, is at least a few chapters or glimpses of things from Mehmed's perspective, because like I wanted to know, he's such a major player in our book, in our game as well. Like,
yeah,
I do love the dual perspective of Lotta and Radu, and it didn't bother me how a lot of other dual perspectives do, because like I wasn't just wanting them to be together. Like it was okay that they were apart.
Oh yeah, no, it was like two completely different stories. It's like in Game of Thrones when we switch like characters completely.
Yeah. So I liked that. I would have also liked to see.
I didn't like. I did not want Mehmed.
His perspective.
I feel like it would have like added such an interesting element to the story.
I don't want to get into spoilers yet. I mean, like until I say, can we say now that we're gonna get into spoilers? I haven't really talked about in general.
Yeah.
Okay, you go.
Share your like non-spoilery thoughts.
Yeah, my non-spoilery thoughts. I really love this book. I was just blown away by like how also like just fascinating all the history was that I didn't know about, wasn't privy to before this. But I really, really liked it. I love the sibling dynamic of it. And even though our siblings are separated in this book, some of the moments where they're just like talking and thinking about each other are my favorite moments of the book. Yeah, it was so good. I think this is a 5 out of 5 star book for me. And I am very excited to read the next one. I think I like Now I Rise better than Anti-Darken, but that's only because Anti-Darken has set the stage and was ready that this book could happen like it did. Because we needed to see their beginning. I really like how, I know we've talked about this before, but Anti-Darken starts from the very beginning, like Lotta's born. And I really love the way that we're watching through her life. It does, like the pacing is like Game of Thrones, like it's slow and steady. And it builds on each other, and it builds so well to the point where at the end of this book, you're like, okay, next. Christine doesn't seem energetic lately. Excuse me? Maybe it's not a good thing for me to have the chat open, because I'm just like looking at it and being like, what? Anyway, I think we're gonna get into spoilers. And it's gonna spoil this book and also Anti-Darken. So you can't stay if you haven't read it. Don't stay because we don't want to spoil you. Come back and like talk with us afterward. It's so energetic. Okay.
So Christine, why do you not want Mehmed's perspective?
Okay, so spoilers now. I hate Mehmed. Like,
well, duh, of course.
No end. Like he's in between these two siblings. He's tearing them apart. Like he's the one who caused this. Like Radu is being so annoying in the beginning of the book. Like when he got that letter from Lotta and he didn't go, I was so hurt. Like how could you do that to your sister? She's never asked you, literally never asked you for your help, and he even says it, like, she never asked me for anything. So it must mean that she needs me. And he still doesn't go. I was like so upset. And then
but okay.
Mehmed.
Isn't that why you'd want to see his perspective though?
He's just using both of them all the time. And
but don't you want to see like the interworkings of his mind and like what he's doing, what he's doing?
Of his mind. I don't know.
Oh, you do.
I do. I'm so mad at him.
How? We didn't even get to see inside his head.
Because you can see that you already know him, like through everything he's done to all them. He loves Lotta, but he loves power more. He's a politician.
Lotta and Radu both still love him.
Exactly.
Like, I would want to see his perspective just to see how bad, how this stuff is affecting him. Because I want to know, like, is he really hurt by this? Does he really not care? Like, we see him through the eyes of so many other people. I want to see how he sees himself.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I want to see if he has like any guilt too, because it just feels like he doesn't feel guilty about anything that he's doing, and I want to see that.
I think he feels
bad at all
about Radu a little bit, but not enough that he cares to stop it. I think he cares more about his image and how people see him. He's a politician. Like, it's just he's in that politician mindset where it's like, I do care about people, but I care about me more, and I care about my end game more.
Also, yeah, he cares about the big picture more than the individual people.
Yeah. And like, oh God, and it just hurts so much that it's like two best friends liking the same person, but these are siblings, so it hurts even more to see them like at these different ends of the spectrum with each other. I
love the dynamic between the three of them, though. How, like, just the complicated relationship they all have.
Yeah.
So complicated and weird, and like Lada and Mehmed love each other, but they can't be with each other because they love themselves more and like their own causes more, and they know this, but it doesn't stop them from feeling that way. And Radu, who is so sweet and just deserves the world, and like he just keeps getting like the shitty end of things.
Yeah. I mean, Radu at the same time though is kind of an asshole. Like he has his moments where he is sweet, but like he makes these decisions that like are mean, and he's just like,
he does have a streak of ruthlessness.
Yeah.
In a way that. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I get really frustrated with Radu because he is so blinded by Mehmed, and it's like so frustrating to see him like continue to be manipulated by him and just like go along with it just because he's like blinded by love. It's so frustrating.
I mean, both of the siblings, that even that scene,
Lana less though.
Yeah, Lana's aware. She's more self-aware of it.
She is still. She screwed over her one alliance. She like not like totally screwed him over, but was like, don't go, like did what Mehmed wanted with
I loved that relationship
with her and Hanyadi. Yeah, that was great. So like she screwed him over for Mehmed, and then Mehmed didn't even come through with his side of the bargain.
Yeah.
Like,
I know, that's what made me so mad. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, first you do this, you send Radu to Constantinople, just like really for no reason. When he realized that, it was such a good moment when Radu realized like, oh, I'm just here to like, so that he doesn't have those rumors anymore. Like, I'm just here to get rid of me. And I was like, finally you're seeing the light, Radu. But then at the end, he still betrayed, his like everything that he had learned for Mehmed. I loved Cyprian so much.
I know.
I was shipping them so hard.
I know.
Go with him, please. Oh.
Is that how the audiobook says it? Is that how you say it, Cyprian? Okay.
Cyprian, yeah.
And it was so sweet and good, and just I just like that.
And that Radu continued to go with what Mehmed wanted.
I know. I was like,
and not only that, but like Radu, how can you not see what's directly in front of you? Like,
someone that appreciates you and is not manipulating you and all these things. Like, oh.
I loved when he said, like, I would forgive you. And like, even at the end, Radu's like, now he'll never want to be with me. And I'm like, no, he said he'd forgive you. He's going to.
Oh my God. Can we talk about Radu's wife? How do you say her name?
Yes.
Oh my God, I love her.
Love her.
Damn it, I already forget how to pronounce it.
Narisia?
How do you spell it? Because I haven't seen the spelling.
Where's the glossary?
Oh,
the glossary open.
Nazira. Okay. Nazira. Yeah, Nazira. Yeah, that's it. Nazira. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I loved her. She was such a fantastic character, and she's so good with Radu too. Like, I love their friendship, their love for each other, even though it's platonic, like it's not romantic, But like, I love their relationship. I love that like he's 100% like shipping her and her wife. Like he's all put them together and just so cute.
She's really like what he needs right now. He needs a hardcore friend who believes in him. She brings out the best in Radu.
He's the only one around him who does.
I love when she says, like, I wish I got to know Lana better. And he's like, no, you don't. She would have liked her. And he's like, hey, just because you can't, like, tame your sister doesn't mean I can. So, it was great.
Yeah, I loved how she wasn't, like, afraid to, like, give him hard love and, like, be real with him. Just be like, yo, this is wrong. Like, just, like, call him out.
And she wasn't afraid to, like, be his friend either or, like, love him. And, like, she also, there was that one point where he's like, I guess we all get screwed up by our childhoods. And she's like, I had a great childhood. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. But I guess it works out for her. It's like, she's so full of love and she's so willing to like love and care for people and take care of Radu. And that's what he needs. And their relationship is perfect, even though they're married, but not actually in love or married at all. Like,
and on Lada's side, Lada began to feel more and more to me like Khaleesi from Game of Thrones. Like, especially that scene at the end, where she has to lock the doors and they just like murder all the what are they called? Whatever they are, the people who run the
Boyars?
Yeah.
Wait, the ones that killed Petru?
Yeah. They're the people who were in charge of different sections of the land. And it was just like that ruthlessness, like, if you're not going to follow me, then I need to start over. It was just like, you kind of understand completely where she's coming from. Like, because they're just going to keep trying to undermine her.
And she realized that in that moment. She's like, you just put me in this position till nothing's going to change. Like, I got my crown, I got my throne, but like nothing's going to change. So we have to burn it down and start from scratch.
Yeah. Wow. It was just like a really great moment. Also, there's so many times where Lana was just like, I wish Radu was here. Like, every time she said that, like, I was almost in tears. And then there's that moment where Radu's like, what would Lana do? I guarantee she's never thought, what would I do? And she does all the time.
Yeah, they both do it.
Especially in like the last moments of each of their like separate storylines. Like, Radu was like, what would Lana do in this situation? And then he does it. And it works out. Like when he cut the Italian's legs and like got them out of the city. And then like Lana is doing it too. She's like, what would Radu do? Like, I'm not diplomatic enough to do that. So I'm going to do the opposite and kill everyone.
Yeah. And like, there's that one time she's getting drunk on the roof and like, she goes to tell this story. Like, remember when like me and Radu, and then she just like feels so sad because he's not there. It's so sad. I hope that I hope Cyprian comes and they all live happily ever after in Lana's castle.
I don't think I don't know the history, but I really doubt.
I doubt it too, but I want it to be this way.
I don't like Lana is gonna hold a grudge. Like that last letter that she sent to Radu and Mehmet, that was like, you chose wrong. Like, I don't
know. But I think she's gonna like forgive Radu, but she's gonna kill Mehmet.
I think she's gonna forgive Radu, but like it's not gonna come easy. Like she's gonna reach like a really low, dark breaking point, and Radu is gonna be like what like helps her not like lose herself completely to it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm nervous. Who's gonna? They're based off of real people, so like I don't know.
At the very end of the book, she became Lada the Impaler. She started impaling people. Okay, let's take questions. We're taking questions using the hashtag #RiseSplosion on Twitter. And
I have one ready.
Okay.
Are you looking forward to Lotta's reign? Do you think she will fail or reign supreme? This question comes from Liz. Thanks, Liz.
I think she's going to eventually succeed. I think she's going to kill Mehmed.
Yeah, I don't think she's going, like, she'll experience setbacks and like failures along the way, but she's so ambitious and ruthless. Like, she's either going to get what she wants or die trying, like, literally. So I don't think she's gonna like fail. I don't know though. I'm really nervous. I need the next book.
What are your thoughts, Christine?
Well, what were you gonna say?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
I'm
not good at theorizing.
I think she's going to end up succeeding. What's gonna happen with Mehmed? I think he's gonna see her again, and they might have some more romance, and then she's gonna be like, you know what? I can never, like, it's never gonna be me first with him. So she's gonna have to cut him out. I feel like what's his name? You know what I'm talking about?
Bogdan. I don't know.
Bogdan? Yeah, Bogdan. Okay. I feel like I wish things worked out with her and Bogdan. I feel like he's her Radu to Mehmed's Radu. You know, like, I said that wrong, but like Mehmed has Radu as his like loyal, in love with him subject, and Lotta has Bogdan. But
Lotta's never gonna see him that way.
Yeah, she's never gonna see him that way, and poor Bogdan does see her that way. And seeing it, so kind of seeing from Lotta's point of view, we're seeing from Mehmed's point of view with Radu. And from Lotta's point of view, I'm like, oh yeah, Bogdan's great. But it isn't the same because Lotta's also taking Bogdan to her room, and Mehmed's just completely, not that Radu wants a friends with benefits relationship with Mehmed. He wants a full-on like romance.
Bogdan probably feels the same.
Yeah, but poor Bogdan's like all in it.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about Lotta's mom?
Oh shoot.
That was like a really interesting section to read about.
She's mentally ill. Like,
yeah.
And I don't think Lotta understands that fully.
Yeah. Lotta doesn't understand how that could have happened because she's been such a vicious fighter her whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he doesn't understand seeing someone kind of like broken like that because like she's been so like trained, like that's weakness. Like, no weakness, can't be weak. Got to be the best. Got to be vicious. Got to be strong. But like her mom was strong. Like, she put up with what she went through. Like, we've just heard like little glimpses of it and stuff. But like the fact that her teeth had been like punched in essentially and like were all shattered, like she's gone through some stuff.
She was a victim of some hardcore abuse and escaped. And
Lotta
doesn't understand that fully.
Harsh in her judgment of Vasilisa surviving how she could. Like, it's about like Lotta's methods of survival are different from Vasilisa's. And I thought it was good that Lotta could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she probably didn't like acknowledge it and like process it as well as she could have.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really touching and like unexpected to see her kind of form a father relationship with the guy who killed her father.
Oh yeah, that was interesting.
That guy was such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Like, he was so
like an unexpected
under his wing in a way. And it was very unexpected. And I feel like in a way, she like kind of betrayed him, but it wasn't like a hard betrayal. You know, she was just trying to, she manipulated him, but like it wasn't like she was sending him off to like death or something on purpose.
No.
It was a subtle manipulation that was also like kind of looking out for him.
Yeah.
Like, things would have gone badly for him if he had gone anyways. And like it was, did she tell him? Did she lie to him? I don't remember exactly how she manipulated.
No, she said that like her son needs him, and if you go off, you're gonna be doing the same thing my dad did, and like just leaving me to myself or whatever.
So like she manipulated him, but it was like truthful stuff, and it was like
that's why it like hit so hard with him.
Yeah, she didn't like make him do anything. She just like swayed him, but for Mehmed, and it still resulted in Hanyadi's death.
Yeah, that was really sad when she.
Hanyadi's son.
I hate that
Matthias. I don't know how you say it.
Matthias. Yeah. It's Matthias. Yeah.
He can go.
Yeah, he was an ass.
And Lana helped him get the throne.
Mm-hmm. Because it was the only way she saw to getting her throne.
Yeah. But
I really liked when he killed his advisor. She killed his advisor.
Killed the guy that he like was like, he'll help you get your throne, and she got it and killed him. So it'll be interesting to see how that relationship plays out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The thing with Lada and how do you say it? Wallachia. The thing with Lada, her land, her kingdom, is it's so little, and she doesn't have like an army. Like all these people around her, like if Mehmed decided he wanted her land, like she would put up a fight, but he has like hundreds of thousands of people. Like Lada just doesn't have the power to defend it from something like that.
This is a complete change of topic, but back to Constantinople. Like this city is so fascinating, and like the superstitions of everyone about literally everything, and how it was getting to Radu, like it was starting to get in his head, was so interesting to see, and it was so interesting to see him comparing it to Islam and how they're like accepting. They don't force people to convert and everything. And when Cyprian was asking him about it, he was like, honestly, refugees and stuff are better off in like the Ottoman Empire, right? Wasn't that really fascinating to see and hear the comparison? I just like, we're never taught about this stuff. Like I'm taught about it in this, just like a crusade happened, like, and Constantinople fell. Like it was just really cool to hear like all these different things in the city, like, oh, like the statue fell, or like the earthquake, and like it rained, and like the birds flew in this direction. So that's God telling us this. And because they experienced all those earthquakes and all these different natural disasters, like they convinced themselves over these years that like God is in the city.
Yeah, I really enjoyed how like this book dealt with like religion in a way that I haven't really seen before.
Wow.
Because it is all like based in history, but again, like especially like Radu, who like converted to Islam and like loves the religion, like really found like a place with it, and just his experience of like coming back to like a Christian dominated area and like seeing how both sides like view each other. It was just really interesting.
Yeah, it was just heartbreaking because like they all just are practicing religion. They all believe in one God, and they're just fighting for no real reason.
Yeah.
Radu realizing that was like one of the most like impactful moments of the book, where he's just like, we're just fighting, like everyone's dying, we're just fighting, this is just a pointless war, like what are we even doing?
Yeah, he said this, there's this line where he's just like, there's no good men on this side of the wall, and there's no good men on that side of the wall either. Yeah. And it was just very sad. And also he said this really poignant thing about how it's like the siege turns the men into monsters, like slowly, like the fighting just makes everyone turn into
like so immersed in this toxic
situation
and environment that it just like it like chips away at your soul, and like
Like, and he'd say these things like when he first was on the wall, like everything was just like he couldn't even take how bad everything felt. And then he's like he grows numb to the point where like arrows are just flying by him, and he's like, yeah, this is my everyday.
Yeah.
It just explored everything in such a fascinating way that you don't usually see.
Like it explores so much about just like humanity. Like it's not even just about like it's not like this book was like relevant in 1450. Like all of these issues are still relevant today. And like again, because it's such a character-driven novel, it feels so personal. Like we're following these people who are like right in the middle of it, who are making the decisions about whether Constantinople falls or not. Like
yeah, it like you're looking through at humanity first, and like the religion aspect of it is just kind of like a side. It's just you're looking at this lens of humanity, and then you see these two religions, but you're not like looking at it through the lens of religion. It's just I don't know.
It wasn't like neither of the two main players, like Mehmed and Constantine, like they weren't necessarily like doing it for the religion so much as it was like the idea of it. Like they were just like men who were so set on like their idea and their ideal of how it should be. That
They're both like fulfilling the prophecy that they thought. Yeah. But Mehmed was just like, and like the idea that Mehmed was just so obsessed with this that like it literally was the only thing that mattered to him. Like when they talked about him loving Lada, it was like not as much as he loves Constantinople. And and even Radu coming to that realization, like nothing comes before Constantinople in Mehmed's mind.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you were able to live as any of the characters dead or alive and make your own choices, who would you be and why? All of such hard lives, Fatima.
yeah. Geez, probably.
Like, Fatima's the maid, like too. That's her job, or which does she have a different job?
Well, I mean, she's Nazira's wife, so
but like, what's her job?
She's just like the maid. Like when what was her name? Urbana was like staying with them. Like Fatima had to like pretend to actually.
So does she not actually work? She's just her wife and lives there with her.
I think so. Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. It's just I was picturing her like that like no, I guess no, I don't even know what I was picturing because they just like go and hang out together in the countryside, right?
Well, she's like her like maid in waiting kind of thing, except it's not exactly like that because that feels like a very English thing.
Nadzia's job is wife to Radu, right?
Basically, yeah.
Oh my god! What did you guys think of the lady who made the cannons? She was like,
Anna.
Oh my gosh!
I liked her, but she was like, and I liked how she kept reminding him of Lada, but she was like so annoying sometimes.
Yeah, I was like, when Radu was like, I found this like amazing cannon maker who's like so ambitious and stuff. I was like, send her to Lada, like give her to Lada, like let Lada work with her, like they could take over the world.
Yeah, I mean, Lada had that like Mulan moment last book where she had those bombs that she used cannons to create a rock slide, right? She definitely did. I remember talking about something.
It's so long.
Yeah. So she could use those cannons in creative ways to do even more damage.
I like this question from Proud Bookline. It says, if you had to conquer any town, doesn't have to be
Constantinople.
Which town/city would you choose?
I don't want to conquer anywhere.
Can I do like Orlando, Florida?
You want Orlando, Florida?
Yeah, because then I can go to Harry Potter World, and I can go to Walt Disney World, and I can
Those are
just
anywhere.
live my best life. I know, but I could go for free. I could live in those places. It would be the best.
I think you'd get tired of it. I feel like that's just like so much stress to conquer a town or a city.
It's a lot of work.
It's if you had to. It's not like...
Okay, if I had to, I don't even know. It scares me to even.
I feel like you're taking this question so seriously. You're like, I just don't want to do that right now. Like, I don't have time for this. I have to finish writing my book.
Like, I don't want to cause any trouble.
Well, I have my top 10 list of cities I want to conquer.
Where?
I don't know. I mean, I would like. My first thought was San Francisco because it's a very valuable area. It is. It's so expensive to live there. Like,
Yeah.
Did my book fall? When did that happen?
I thought you would say New York, Kat.
That's another one, and also just like my hometown, which is like little. But I like it up here, and like it would be nice to rule something.
I conquered it.
Or another planet.
Oh my god, the stress of a whole planet. It's just like I guess if I can just choose a place where I can live for free is London.
Christine like wants to conquer like one apartment, like a house. I've conquered this house.
It's mine.
By paying the mortgage and closing the deal.
Oh, it just doesn't sound like something I'd enjoy. Oh, okay, let's see here. Did you have the Constantinople song run through your head? What Constantinople song?
I feel like I have heard a song that has Constantinople in it.
It sounds a little familiar, like it sounds vaguely familiar, but I didn't have anything stuck in my head because I don't know it that well.
Oh, which side of the wall would you want to be on? Not the Constantinople side. That's like, I would just be like out in Greece.
Yeah.
I found the song.
What is it? Are you gonna play it?
I'm not going to play it because it's probably copyright.
No, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
We'll listen to it after.
Yeah, it would be like stressful to be on either side because they're at war. Like I'd want to stay home with Fatima or be in Greece, Cyprus. Like I think I would have left Constantinople when the siege started. Like,
Yeah. Like most everyone else did.
yeah, like Radu even being in there, like Mehmed sending him in there was so dangerous.
Yeah, because like I was so nervous for him toward the end of the book because I was like, how is he gonna get, like, he's in the city disguised as like an enemy essentially, like anyone who isn't Mehmed and who doesn't know him like could kill him. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god. Were you so nervous that there's that like one moment when someone comes in and is like, Radu, stay away from the wall today. And then he's like, F, Cyprian is at the wall. And so he like, and I'm like, you best go get him off the wall. Because I was like afraid he was just gonna like let him die. But like he goes and gets him. But like he like something happens when he's up there, like that I feel like there's like a bomb or something, or like a cannon hits the wall. I don't know. I was so scared at that moment. I was like, get down, get out of there. And then, oh my God, I flipped a shit when like Lana was like, how did you know that there was something growing inside you? And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, that would have been a very dramatic like path for the book to take. I'm glad we're not going there.
Yeah.
Same.
I was like, no.
No.
Why didn't you use a condom? Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, obviously that's something that Vlad the Impaler never had to deal with, but it's something that Lotta might. So, like,
Yeah.
We could have gone there. Like, that's another thing about this series is even though the characters are young, like I believe in this most recent one, like Lotta's like late teens.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like YA. Like it feels like an adult novel and like the scope of the topics. No one is dealing with young adult issues. Like
and I think there's specifically Kiersten didn't mention how old she actually is, just so she doesn't run into trouble with the whole stupid YA thing, like how like you're not allowed to be YA if you're not like in your mid-teens.
Yeah. How do we know how old Lotta is at the end of?
Yeah, she was talking to me about this in like when I interviewed her. So like technically in real life, I think it spans to like her, like she's middle aged, but in the book she's going to be like in her early 20s, and that's even, she's like, I'm afraid I'm pushing it even with 20s.
So dumb.
She was born in 1435, and this book takes place in 1453. So she is 18.
Okay.
For this book, but she'll obviously be older as we go into the next book.
Yeah, I feel she's not going to mention how old she is. She's just going to like.
Well, we know she was born in 1435. Like we know how old she is.
Yeah, you know, but
so then we'll have like the year.
Yeah, we'll have the year, so you can
never say like she's 19.
Yeah, she's never going to say like, oh, I'm 24, my birthday today. It's just not going to happen. Do you have any favorite wars that you would potentially write about? Ooh, favorite wars.
Let me get my top 10.
Yeah.
I feel like the only like war era that I would like be really interested in writing about is like the Civil War.
I would go for Civil War or
Revolutionary War.
World War I or World War II.
Oh, those wars stress me out.
Really?
World War I especially, because no matter how many times I try to understand what started it, I'm still confused and annoyed because it was just like someone was shot in the head and then like all the countries had alliances, so they just like all were at war for like some dumb reason.
That's politics.
Yeah, and like it's just always like, what was World War I about? And everyone's like, some guy was shot.
Oh my gosh.
I thought World War I because I've read Scott Westerfeld's Leviathan series, which is like a steampunk alternate history of World War I, and it was awesome. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really see myself drawn to writing historical, just because I'm so intimidated by the amount of research.
Oh my god!
Like having to get it right. Like I would rather create a fake world and a fake history because I can't get that wrong. I invented it all.
One of my early like book projects took place during World War II, and just like the research is what overwhelmed me from writing.
I think like the World War I and II scare me even more because like they're so recent that people actually know we're there and can actually be like, you're so wrong. Because like that prospect of like researching but still getting it wrong is like really scary. Yeah. This is far enough back that like we didn't even learn that there's like there's a chance that some people don't even know it existed. Yeah. But that makes it even harder to research.
True.
Yeah, I feel like she was talking about it was just really hard for her to research. She was saying like just architecture and stuff. Like when do they talk about the windows and what they look like?
It's like so many little details of like daily life that you could get wrong because it was so different and you have no idea because it's not like recorded in like official places. But Like, you don't know about, like, the people who are actually living there.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that I think is going to be really, really interesting years and years from now, because there's so many individuals, like, blogging their lives and putting it on YouTube, and, like, you see so many different perspectives of how people are living. Like, they're going to be overwhelmed with research options in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. It's completely different. Do we want to take like one more question and then talk about next month?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Last question. Do you think, oh, this is one that, this is a quick one, but so we can do another question. But do you think Lotta is a Slytherin or more of a dark Gryffindor? And she's definitely dark Gryffindor, I think, and Radu's Slytherin.
I think Slytherin. Her ambition is her most defining. Like, she's brave for her.
Well, actually, Kiersten told me that she's Gryffindor and Radu.
Radu is what?
Slytherin.
Radu is Slytherin.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I would see Slither Claw.
Radu's Slytherin. How could you?
He's really smart and clever.
Yeah, but so Slytherins can be smart and clever, and he's clever to do some shady shit.
I guess Lotta being Gryffindor does make more sense, especially in the beginning when she was just like terrorizing the countryside for no reason because she was angry. Like, that's a pretty Gryffindor move. Okay, dark Gryffindor.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder, did we sort the characters in our Anti-Darken live show?
Probably.
Maybe. Yeah, I think we probably did. Do we have one more question? Did you guys like Now I Rise or Anti-Darken better?
I liked Now I Rise better. Like, I gave Anti-Darken, I want to say like 4.5 stars, and I would give this one 5 stars.
Yeah, I think I did the same thing.
It's because Anti-Darken, like, established it and gave me the expectations of what I was going into. Like, when I first read Anti-Darken, I did feel it was slower because I wasn't anticipating that. But going into Now I Rise, like, I already knew the groundwork and the pacing of the first book, and I had that down. Like, it was so easy to fall into and just, like, be swept away into it. So, yeah, I liked Now I Rise a little bit better, but, like, both excellent.
Cool. My computer's making a weird humming noise, and it's freaking me out. Like, why are you doing this?
Just humming you a song.
It's probably trying. It's like the camera and other things processing. Like,
it never hums.
That's scary then.
Anyway, okay, let's talk about next month.
Okay.
Jesse, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Next month we're reading Tempests and Slaughter
by Tamora Pierce, I think.
Tamora Pierce. It's Tamora, I think.
Yeah.
I think I was saying
I've gone over that so many times now.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a high fantasy, I think, right?
Yes.
And
I believe it's got like a very Harry Potter vibe to it as well. Like, we follow a mage who is going to magic school.
Oh, really?
So,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
That's exciting. I just know that it's gotten really great reviews.
They're like student mages at this like university type setting. So I get Harry Potter vibes,
exciting.
Name of the Wind vibes, maybe a little bit. Just like that, like nice fantasy magic school.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
It does follow a character from some of her past series, I believe, but this is like his origin story, so you can read this before those other books. Just throwing that out there to everybody.
Which is good, because this is my first
This is the first book.
Yeah.
Same.
Nice. I'm excited because everyone loves Tamora Pierce, and I just haven't read her yet. The blurb is done by Sarah J. Maas, and it says, Tamora Pierce is a pillar, an icon, and an inspiration.
I mean, she is. Like, she's been writing historical fantasy, high fantasy books for so long. Like, she's a staple in the genre. And this is her most recent book, I want to say. It came out earlier this year in February, so it's not a brand new release. It's probably available in like libraries and stuff by now if you are
It's so pretty.
can't buy it, but yeah, I know it's shiny and pretty.
Look how it glimmers in the light.
It matches these books. Like
It does.
totally similar, but like
Well, it's shinier. This is like more down to earth, and this is like woohoo, shiny.
fantasy.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us for this live show. It was a really fun discussion.
Lots
so
to talk about.
Yeah. Don't forget that Bright We Burn comes out really soon, so you'll be able to continue.
Like 11 days from now.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully you'll join us for Tempests and Slaughter next month. It's going to be
through July. We don't have a live show date yet, but it'll be like end of July, early August.
I just got distracted by the chat. Okay. I cannot have the chat running. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you'll join us next month. I don't think we have an August book yet. We haven't chosen one, right? Okay, we haven't chosen one, so we will not. We'll announce that soon. And we'll be announcing the rest of the year lineup because I think we have that all lined up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm Christine.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Kat.